Yes, it's John G. Sutton here, Psychicworldnet. I put a link down below, just swipe and copy it and post it into your Google Finder or whatever it is and have a look at my website. You can contact me there or one of my clairvoyants. And today I'm going to talk about the spirit materialization of a former pet of mine called Sutty Dog. Now, Sutty Dog was a Scottish Terrier, kind of aloof kind of character. She didn't jump up and sit on your knee. She was best of buddies with my bulldog. I had a British bulldog called Grumbles, and they were inseparable friends. And I took Grumbles and I took Sutty Dog many times with me to appear when I was doing TV shows at the time. In fact, Sutty Dog came with me to do This Morning with Richard and Judy when I had my book published, Psychic Pets, for Bloomsbury. It was a big success, published all over the world. In fact, Walt Disney had me on the Animal Planet channel, filmed at Orlando at the MGM Theatre, Fox News in New York, the Children's News Network. I did 8 shows for them in America. And Sutty Dog, when I could, I took her with me. She came with me to do a program called The Time, The Place. And I took Sutty Dog with me. And I was talking about the paranormal powers of pets, which they do have. I mean, you've only got to get your dog in the car, and when you're approaching home, I mean, you might go 100 miles away for a weekend off, but when you get it back, you notice that when you get within, say, a mile of your home, your dog's alert, your dog's aware, your dog's jumping up and down. Your dog knows that it's home. And you can ask people in your house, just say, just keep an eye on the dog. When you go out to work or wherever you've been, just say, I want you to observe the dog and see what happens. And when you're about half a mile away, or something like that, your pet will recognize the vibrations, the aura, because we all have like an electronic field that we transmit, and it goes into infinity and beyond, but obviously it weakens over distance. But as you get closer to your home, so your dog will pick up your aura or your electronic field. It's a signal that you emit. You won't consciously be aware of this, obviously. Some are. I mean, I can at times see auras when people have got particular problems. I was once at the doctor's, and as I came out of the doctor's, a little old lady came just before me, and she was surrounded by sparkling golden lights. She's a very intelligent lady. I just said good morning, and she looked really happy. I know she obviously had some good news from the doctor, but her aura was absolutely shimmering. I've very rarely seen an aura like that. I saw the aura around the Moors murderer, Ian Brady, when I was an officer at HMP Wormwood Scrubs. And it was black. Muddy, dirty, filthy, horrible black all round him. And it was cold. Everything around him was cold as ice. I mean, I was picking up on it, but then again, that's obviously my psychic sensitivity. And I know people are saying, you're talking bullshit, mate. No, it actually is correct. And the people who are sensitive can pick this up. He made you feel ill. You didn't have to say anything, and his eyes were dead. He looked at you very strange. He never said, never spoke. Ian Brady. You can read about that in my book, Volume 1 of HMP Manchester Prison Officer. It's available on Amazon. So I'm telling you about Sutty Dog. Sutty Dog was a great friend of mine, and we used to go when I could. I can't now because I'm just a little bit lame. But I used to take her out, and we enjoyed many happy hours. But she'd go running round the fields with Grumbles by her side, and believe me, Grumbles the bulldog didn't really like to walk. She much preferred to sit in a corner and snore. And she also had a rather strange habit of blasting out these enormous, great, terrible, stinking, flatulent farts. And she'd look at you as if to say, "What's wrong with that?" Grumbles was my mate, and so was Sutty Dog. Anyway, time passed, years go by, and around about the age of 12, Sutty Dog became seriously ill. And my wife said, "We've got to do something," and Sutty Dog started to go into areas of the house where she never went. She didn't go in certain places. She went there and stayed there on the floor, and she didn't come when you called her. She just remained seated, and you could see that there was that sign, that it was time. So, as sad as it is, my wife sent for the vet, and we decided that, for the sake of the dog, that she should be given assistance to move into the next dimension. Not something that you take lightly. It was extremely heartbreaking. But you have to do this as a responsible owner. And we were responsible. So I said to my wife, Mary, I couldn't do it. I said, "Mary, you got to go into the back garden and select a spot and dig a grave, about 3 foot deep, fairly deep. And when the vet's been and Sutty Dog's gone, we'll place her in the grave." Well, okay. So Mary went out and did that, and as she was out, she came in and said, "John, you better come into the back garden. There's a bird that's injured." And I said, "Oh, all right, I'll come and have a look." And there was a big blackbird, quite a large blackbird, and it wasn't injured. It was just standing at the edge of the grave that Mary had dug. Well, I said, "I don't think the bird's damaged in any way, but wild birds, you go anywhere near them, they're off. But not this bird. It just hopped around at the grave." Anyway, the morning went along, and the vet arrived, and Sutty Dog made the transition between this world and the next. Or did she? Because after the vet had gone and I wrapped Sutty in a blanket and took her to the grave, we placed her in the grave, and Mary said a few words, as you do, and covered her over with soil, and still the blackbird was within 3 feet of where we were. And when we'd finished covering the dog, put all the soil in the dog, flattened it down, we looked back, and the bird was still there, and all of a sudden it hopped right round the grave and then lifted off into the sky. Gone. The bird was gone. Right straight up. It didn't fly sideways, didn't up around, just went straight up into the sky. And I believe that it was taking the spirit of Sutty Dog. So time passed, years go by, and I was here, as I usually am, working, writing books or whatever on my computer. This is where I am now. And Mary came in and she said, have you seen the state of your hair? I said, "There's nothing wrong with my hair, because I haven't had an haircut in 20 years. I just let it grow, and it falls out, as you can see. Look what's happened. I gone baldy head." Anyway, she said, "Your hair is an absolute disgrace." And she said, "I am going to take a photograph of your hair and show you what a mess you look." I said, "Well, get on with it. I'm not bothered. I'm not having my hair cut. She said, when you see this, you will. So Mary got a camera. Seriously, it was I don't know what it was. It was a Fujitsu, I believe, digital camera. And she took my photo, and she said, "Now, get it up, put it through into the you put it into the computer, you know, and you get it up on the screen." She said, "Now have a look at that." And when I put it up on the screen, Mary said, "Good God," she says, "you won't. Can you see that?" I said, "Well, I wasn't really looking, you know." So I had a look, and there, instead of my hair, was Sutty Dog. And this is the photograph. I had it enlarged and put into a frame, and it sits in my office. And here is the photograph. See if you can see Sutty Dog. That Sutty Dog looks exactly like Sutty Dog. And as you can see, I'm sat in front of my computer with all them wavy grey locks. I had a bit more hair then. But there it is. That, honestly, is an untouched. There's no AI involved. There was no AI in them days. It's going back about 15, 20 years. And that is Sutty Dog. That's the God's honest truth. Should come back to see me. And that was the materialisation of the spirit of my little Scottish terrier, Sutty Dog. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this little look into the spiritual side of the world. Have a look at my website, Psychicworldnet. Thank you very much for watching. Do please like and subscribe.